This is Heavy Conversation with Bruce and Jody, a podcast where we talk about being a big guy in today's world. I'm Bruce. And I'm Jody. Here we go.
Here we go. Here we go.
All right, we go. All right, here we go.
So I don't know about you, but we get tons of solicitations, maybe I should say, about becoming a model for us. Like every day on Instagram, I get photos from people that are like, I want to be a bearskin model. How do I become a bearskin model? So I think I would like to talk about how to become a plus size model / influencer today.
This is great because, yes, we also get tons of messages from people who are like, I want to be a plus size model. Can you, can you work with me? Can you take pictures of me? Here you go. They're like, and everybody seems to think that they're the only one who's reaching out and doing this. So
they're revolutionizing the modeling industry.
Totally. These messages are coming in daily where people are like, hey, I want to be a model, or they totally think that they're doing something that's, new and, out there. So I think, it's important that we talk about how you become a plus size male model.
Some tips of what we're looking for, maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
And how you become an influencer, because I also get a ton of those.
Mm-hmm.
And
what is an influencer?
Yeah,
what
right.
Does that
right.
even...
So, yeah, right. So
I want to be Kim Kardashian.
Exactly. So I think that that's a good place to start. What is an influencer? So there are a lot of people who think that being on Instagram and showing these photos and getting a lot of likes can be a job. Mm-hmm. And maybe it can.
For a select few.
A select few. The vast majority of people are not going to be able to do that.
Yeah. Well, you can maybe be an influencer, but you're not going to be able to quit your job.
Yeah, right. If
doing it.
Exactly. If you think it's going to be like, that's your thing, there are very few people who do that. And the people who are doing that, they are not just posting to Instagram, and the vast majority of them are not. Don't think about being an influencer would be my first thing. Mm-hmm. When I think about what I do, I don't think of it as being an influencer. I have a website that offers a resource, know, and when you're doing that, then you've got something that people get something out of. It's not just like, I don't personally care that much about like my poolside photos or what I've eaten and showing those kind of things.
But it's important. Everyone wants to know, Bruce.
Right. There is, you kind of have to be part of the game,
yes.
because social media is important. But social media is also very misleading. It makes you think that the people that you're looking at, that their lives, that's all they are.
Yeah. Well, I think I said this before. It's like a highlight reel.
Totally.
Yeah, that's what people only post the good things that are happening normally.
Right.
There are the few that are always Debbie Downers, but mostly it's like, oh, look at my fabulous life. Look at all the things I'm doing and all the places I'm going. And
right.
I'm like, what? How do you afford to do that?
Exactly. And that is not.
I have a boring life because I'm going to work and I'm going home. Same. I have a couple things, but I always forget to take pictures of, because I'm actually doing the thing. I'm not, remembering to take a picture of me doing the thing. Right.
So, the whole idea of being an influencer, being, an Instagram star or something like that is like, don't look at that as a career path. Mm-hmm. It is not the thing. So you need to think about like what you actually want out of this.
And what do you bring?
Right.
Like, do you have a unique voice or unique look, or
totally
what are you trying to do with your Instagram or your whatever social media or your blog or website? Like, are you trying to like motivate people? Are you just trying to make a bunch of money? Are you trying to be, the next, I don't know.
Sure. Right.
Like you have to have some sort of plan, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Even the Kardashians, look at what they're doing. Yes. I mean, they're huge and powerful and they do, do all these things through social. Mm-hmm. But they also have businesses. They've turned it into other things. Yep. The whole idea is that you have a thing. Mm-hmm. And their thing is apparently being super famous.
Yeah, they're famous for being famous.
Right. Now, most people are not going to be able to do that. Mm-mm. So you have to find a thing, a reason, and build a community around that. Mm-hmm. That's the whole idea. So, if you're able to do that, then it's going to make a really big difference.
Yeah. And you have to like cultivate your audience, I guess, too.
Totally.
Like, a lot of people just, I don't know. It seems like a lot of just selfies. And like, I want, if you want to be a model for Bearskin, I need to see that you're living a fun life and having fun and you're confident and you're, I need to see that in those pictures that you're taking or showing on your social media. Like,
Right.
I need to see your whole body, not just your face.
Right.
Like just the duck lip faces.
No duck lips.
Well, not all of them anyways.
Sure.
Yeah.
Another thing that I would say about being an influencer is that there are a lot of people out there who are doing this who they may have hundreds of thousands of followers, but they're not paying the bills with that.
Yeah.
That is not how this works. And I think that there are a lot of people who have this notion that is incorrect that
it's
if
not
you do that,
it's not a quick fix or
it doesn't always work
get
that
rich
way.
quick kind of thing.
That
it's a lot of work
it's
to
a
make
lot
that
of work.
money. Like you're hustling, you're taking photos, you're doing whatever, you're posting, you're hashtagging whatever hashtag game you got,
Right. That's the other thing that I would say is that, yes, you can be an influencer, but the whole idea is that you have to work at it. It's not just putting up those photos, every so often and hoping for the best.
It's not a set it and forget it.
Right. It's having a voice. It's figuring out where you fit and what you want to offer. It's doing that always, all the time.
It's a job.
Regularly.
It's a full-time job,
Right.
or it can be a part-time job, but it's definitely a job. And I think people need to remember that they need to be professional when they're doing it.
Totally.
Like you can have your fun party pictures, but also have like have someone taking full pictures of you, out doing something. Have your best friend or your boyfriend, girlfriend, significant other, whatever, take actual pictures, go out and do a photo shoot,
Right.
You need practice getting your picture taken. It sounds weird, but you need to know like how to hold your body and what kind of facial expressions you're making, or do you have resting bitch face?
Right.
Like, what do you like?
It's finding your voice. And your voice is not just the things that you say. It's
what
also
is it? Smizing? What's her
smizing.
name? I can't think of what she said. But isn't that a smile with your eyes?
Right. Right. Well,
Tyra Banks. There we go. I couldn't remember what her name was.
So there is like this whole idea that you have to have your voice. You figure out what you want to say, where you want to fit, how you want to fit in, what you want your photos to say. And, if you want to have a specific theme, great. If you don't, fine. But figuring that out is really important. And then kind of growing it from there. The big thing from a business standpoint is you can do that. But if you're trying to make this something that is long term, you have to diversify. You can't just do this. You can't rely on a social network to love you and give you everything you want.
Yeah. And you can't rely on Instagram to be around forever.
Absolutely
or,
not.
Facebook owns them or whatever, and they change their algorithms. So things change, and now your posts aren't being populated to your friends. You can't rely on somebody else's platform to bring in your income all the time.
Like, you have to diversify.
You might, it might be scary to start your own blog or website or whatever, but it's important to have that so that you can kind of control that. Because if it's your living, you need to be in control of it. If it's all on somebody else's platform, Facebook, social media, whatever, that changes, and all of a sudden
they change and you go away.
Yeah. I mean, it's happened to us with Bearskin. Like, totally. We're posting every day and whatever, and it's doing great, and we're getting all these, sales, or, people are liking and whatever. And all of a sudden they're like, oh, Facebook announced this new algorithm, blah, blah, something. And you're like, oh, well, that's why none of my posts are being seen. No one's liking anything, so.
Totally. So, yeah. And it makes, they make those changes and you have to respond accordingly. If you have your own website, or if you are on multiple social networks, or you're putting out videos, or you're doing something like these other things, then you can pivot, or you can weather those changes much more easily than if you're just stuck on one thing. We should probably open our adult beverage.
Oh, yeah. I need. So what is this? Sinister Black Ale. Ooh. Sinister's got numbers and weird things in it. This is another 10-barrel brewing company.
Wonderful.
Oh, it says drink beer outside. I was like, what?
Well, that won't be happening today.
I know, not. Well, maybe
time.
later.
Yeah.
This is kind of a darker beer to be drinking outside on a summer day.
Right.
Black ale. Yeah. It looks delicious.
Nice. It does.
I haven't slept much. This will be great.
Perfect.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, wow, this 10 Barrel Brewing seems to be popping up a lot in this.
Oh, yeah. I like this. Good. Smooth. Drinkable.
A good beat. Could dance to it.
A good beat. So back to complaining about influencers.
Not complaining, Bruce.
No, not complaining, just being realistic. I mean, honestly, I think that's a big thing. Like when I think about, when people write in or they ask me about this, my big thing is just that I've been doing this for 8 years now. 8 years, and it's still growing.
Wow.
And it takes time. It takes time. It takes effort. And I mean, I'm doing this full time, and it's,
you're hustling every day.
Yeah. Yeah. It is an undertaking, and it is a job. It's fun. I love it. Don't get me wrong. It's amazing. And I am proud every day to be able to do this. I'm so happy and, all of that, but it's work. And if you are going to try to be an influencer, that's what it comes down to, is that you have to be willing to do the work. You have to find where you fit, and you have to run with it. And I think anybody who's doing this and is turning it into something and growing it would tell you the same thing.
Yeah. And I think you need to look at other people that are actually, they are doing it, or they are models. They are plus size models, influencers. Look at what they're doing. Follow them. Engage with them. See what kind of posts they're doing and what's going on. And, oh, hey, this, what's his Zach? He's out. He's posting all the time. Kind of some behind the scenes stuff from his professional shoots and all that kind of stuff.
Zach has made it. Let's talk about the how to become a plus size model thing now. I think we've talked about being an influencer. It's a lot of work. Find your thing, run with it. Expect it to take a long time. Get into the community, because there's a community out there. Whatever you decide to get into it and run with it. But becoming a model is a very different thing.
Yes.
Number one, the first thing I want to say about this is that there is this another erroneous notion that there is a huge market for plus size male models. There is not.
No,
there is not. That is not to say that companies aren't looking for models, because we have large companies who are reaching out to us on a regular basis saying, hey, we're with huge apparel brand X, and we are looking for plus size models. Can you help us? Sure. But that's happening few and far between.
Yeah.
And if they're looking for somebody, they have a very specific idea of what they want. And you have to understand that the mainstream right now is saying, okay, what is a plus size model? Yeah. We're taking baby steps into that.
And they have to have like acceptable plus size,
Right.
They're not going to go all out with like a really big guy. They're not doing that yet. Not the mainstream.
Right. And one of the things that I can say is that Zach Miko is awesome, and he has really stepped up in a great way to come out and be like, this is possible.
Yeah.
You can be yourself. You can you can have a bigger body, and you can do this. And that is exactly what we need. He is that first step to move us forward into that. Yeah. And I think we need people like that to be able to say, this is an option, because then the mainstream looks at it and they say, oh, hey, we can have plus size models. And I think that
people do identify with them, and they do
absolutely
rally behind those people. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think he's really inspirational, and going to boost his podcast here. You should definitely listen to it if you're not. I think it's called Big Things with Zach Miko.
Zach Miko, yeah.
It's fun, and it's cool listening to him, and he's a really good guy. I think
I think he even reaches out to a lot of those Instagram influencer people. He's always like,
if you're
commenting, and it seems like he seems like an approachable, friendly guy. Like he's supporting other people that are trying to get into it. And,
right.
Yeah.
He knows, I think, as the face of the plus size male model, this industry, he's great for that because, that's what we need. And he is going to kind of herald in, the next wave of models, and companies are seeing him and starting to get more comfortable with the idea of having bigger guys in their marketing and on their websites and featured in different ways. And they're also becoming more comfortable with working with, sites like Chubster or working with just bigger guys in general. Yeah. And that's huge. That's what we want. Mm-hmm. So it is a good first step to have Zach out there, but we do want to see more. And I think that we will.
Yeah.
The thing
it's
is,
coming. It is coming. I think, we've been looking, because we're new to Portland, so we're going to be looking for some new models, and it's weird. Like we're always like scouting whenever we go out and we're looking, but it's like, I need to feel comfortable with the person and like see how they're acting in real life.
Right.
Like, are they a fun person? Do I want to hang out with them? Do I want to spend a whole day with them shooting? That kind of thing. Like, are they going to be this diva?
So,
needing a spritzer in a whatever, like, I don't want that.
You don't want that.
No.
So let me reiterate two things here that you just said.
Okay.
You're going to be looking for models.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just one thing now because you just opened Pandora's box by saying that. So
we will be,
Pandora's inbox.
We're always looking, because we're always scouting, but that doesn't mean that we're going to be like, oh, we have this photo shoot tomorrow. Right. We need someone now.
Right.
Like it's an ongoing process of looking for talent.
So if someone's reaching out to you, number one, do you want them to reach out to you? Do you want people to say, hey, I want to be a model.
I'm not going to solicit that.
Okay.
Because I feel like I get enough of people just randomly doing it anyways.
Right.
But just interacting with our brand either through Instagram or Facebook or whatever, if you're liking and commenting or you're posting pictures of yourself and our products, and I notice that, I see that, and then I'm like, oh, I like this guy, he whatever, and I'll take a look at I'll scroll through your Instagram and look and see what kind of pictures you're doing, and but I'm not gonna be like, yes, I'm looking, send me stuff.
If someone does reach out, what do you want to know from them? Like, do you want like
I need
stats?
to know like where do you live? Because we're in the Pacific Northwest, so I'm going to be looking for people that are in our area. I'm not, right now I'm not looking for people in Atlanta or in New York or anything. We're in the Pacific Northwest, so I need to know location. Yeah, your stats, your height, your weight, whatever, sizes, all that kind of stuff. I need a clear face picture. I need a full body picture, head to toe.
Sure.
I also need pictures of you in shorts or underwear, because that's what we're going to be shooting. So I need to see what your proportions are.
Right.
And I don't want any nudes. I will say that again. Do not send nudes. You automatically get disqualified.
Right.
So yes, we're an underwear company, whatever, but no, I don't.
Right.
Yeah.
We
you need to be professional. This is a job.
Business.
Yeah. And we're going to be showing your face. So don't be like, I'm going to model for you, but don't show my face.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't
work.
That doesn't work. Thanks.
Yeah. We had a problem with that at Chubster early on, where we asked for reader photo submissions, and we still do, because we want to see people's looks and share them with our community. But we started out getting reader photos that were, nude reader photos. We're not looking for
readers.
That. Yeah, nude readers. We're looking for they were nude with nothing but a book.
Wow. Yeah. Watch out for paper cuts.
Right. Oof. Yes. So, we really had to kind of draw a line and be like, look, we need you to be wearing clothes. That's important.
Yeah. That's the first
something.
thing.
We're not saying, if you're in your underwear and you're,
be professional.
Right. Be professional. Yes. So we've talked a little bit about how you can approach brands and how to become an influencer. And, when it comes to being a model, how do you get out there and how do you get seen? It's really, if you're an influencer, you have a much better chance of being seen by brands, because brands are trying to find people. They're also trying to find influencers. They want to see you. I mean, Jody, you're a brand. So you've just explained what you're looking for when you're looking for models.
Yeah. I like it when you are interacting with our brand.
Totally.
I also get those, solicitations about being a model, and they don't even like our page, or they've never even had our product. And I'm like, well, how do you know that you want, like, if you've never even worn the underwear, how do you know that you want to be the face of Bearskin?
Right.
Like, how do you, so yeah, you need to be if you get an outfit from wherever, ASOS or JCPenney's or whatever,
right,
tag them in those posts. Like someone on their team will see that.
Totally.
You know?
Absolutely. And we're not saying all this to discourage you from trying to do this. We just want you to know that it is a difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
And that if it's something that you want to get into, you're going to have to work. You're going to have to work for it. And you're going to have to understand that a lot of you're going to get turned down a lot. They're just,
and that doesn't mean that you're not beautiful or handsome or gorgeous or whatever.
Beautiful. Yeah.
I don't know that song that well.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't do that. We might have to pay for it. Never mind.
I think you can play like a couple seconds.
Can you? And you can sing it badly, and that doesn't count. Okay.
No, no royalty fees needed.
Good.
But yeah, interacting with the brands, I think, is really important. Being professional,
getting your photos out there,
getting your photos out there. Yeah, and like actual photo shoots. Like I said before, go out with your friend, do photo shoots at different locations, do different poses, do different faces, do different outfits.
Right.
Do all that stuff.
Sure.
Because I want to see how you look in different situations, in different, whatevers.
Don't wait for a brand to pick you up.
No.
That's the thing. When I started Chubster, I started because what I was doing wasn't out there. What I wanted wasn't there. And if you are willing to go out and do your own thing and build it up, people will take notice. It might take time. You have to be willing to do that. That's the whole idea around all of this is that it is not easy. It takes time, but it can be worth it. We are seeing progress. And if you want to be a model, it's something that you can do. You should not expect that you're going to be out there as much as like Zach Miko's everywhere.
He works for a major agency. That's another thing. A lot of agencies... There aren't a lot of agencies for plus size people. They aren't, right. There aren't a lot out there. It's a lot about you have to hustle yourself to the brand.
Totally.
Like there's just not enough like quote unquote professional plus size models out there. So you kind of have to do the work of what an agency would do. You have to negotiate what your pay is, whether it's product and cash or just product or whatever,
You have to be professional. And you have to be willing to go into it and just kind of, you are your own manager in most cases. And with Zach, he's with IMG and they're huge and they take care of that. And so he's working with a lot of companies and he's being seen out there. You probably are not going to be able to do that yourself. So, a lot of these agencies, they're just starting to cautiously step into this segment. So you can't expect that, you're going to get signed to an agency, it's just how it goes.
There's not enough work out there yet.
Right.
For those agencies to be doing that. So
that's going to change though. And I do think that we will see more models of different sizes, different shapes, different ethnicities, things that we aren't seeing in plus size men's fashion really at all, with few exceptions.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see those changes in the future, but that's kind of where we're at right now.
Yeah. And like I said about going out and doing photo shoots, like maybe start reading some books.
Right.
Or watching videos on how to pose, because there's nothing worse than when you are in a photo shoot, coming from a brand's perspective, when you have a model that doesn't know how to move. And there's only so much direction you can give. And if a person doesn't understand their body, like you need to be confident enough to know, oh, this is how just go with it. There's this fun video, and I don't know what it is, but there's this girl that does like, I don't know, 50 poses in like 50 seconds or something. And it's just like, bam, bam, bam. And it's just like, click, click, click. And she's just like,
yeah.
I was like, wow, that is awesome. Like just watching that was like, wow, look at these. She's obviously does this all the time, but it was just fun to watch her just like hitting these poses just perfectly, like head up, tilted over, hair over, this, arm up, leg over. I was like, wow, geez, I need to practice some of those poses too.
That's awesome. Yeah. Knowing those things definitely helps. And I think it's, if you go in and you're prepared like that, a good photographer is going to be able to work with you and say, okay, try this, try that. And, you know yourself. So being able to work with somebody, be collaborative, be open, come in with some ideas if that's something that's needed and just kind of run with it.
Yeah. It's fun. I love doing photo shoots. They're so much fun.
So it's here. So here we are. I think we've probably discouraged people from trying to do this.
No. I think we do need a lot more plus size bodies out there. So continue to reach out to brands to be, a model, try to be a model for them, but understand that we're getting a lot of those sorts of solicitations to be models and whatever. But
thank you.
Oh, yes. A round of applause from the iPad.
All right. Perfect.
On that note, thanks, guys. Make sure to send us your professional looking photos and no nudes if you're going to try to be a model for us.
Yeah, and if you have questions, if there's any follow up that you've listened to this and you're like, okay, so now what do I do? Hit us up on social. It's we're Heavy Convo on Twitter, right? And we are Heavy Conversation Podcast.
Yes, Heavy Conversation Podcast on Instagram. Send us your best modeling photos, and we'll feature you on our page.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Heavy Conversation. Be sure to like and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.